It is something that we have not had before. So this is a little new, but we will, we're working on it. My team is fast at work, and it seems to be coming from Christina, who is our keynote speaker. So we need to fix it. So we're going to all pray to the extra gods that they take care of this audio problem. That's all I can do, because I don't know what else to do. So I just want to say welcome. There are so many people here tonight who are new to Marion's Table Talk. So welcome, Extra Love Army. Those are Christina's followers. I'm so grateful that you're all here. We have a very special night tonight, because Christina is the kind of person that the minute she speaks, you want in. And that's the way it was for me. I met her through a friend. I don't know if she's on yet, but Jill Lyons, who is a former colleague of mine and friend. And when she introduced me to Christina, I was like all in. Plus her Instagram handle is Oprah Meets Gucci, which for me is like, okay, yes, please. Yes, please. So tonight we have founders, lighting directors, life coaches, holistic therapists, medical litigators, ad execs, producers, brand strategists, stylists, graphic artists. This is assuming you're all coming. My favorite was stay-at-home mom with lots of side gigs. That's Rachel Smucker. If you're here, I freaking love you. Wellness champions, problem solvers, beauty counter execs, so many women here with so much talent. And I'm going to speak a little. Normally I would be like, here's Christina, but I'm going to give them a little moment. The whole point behind these talks, Marion's Table Talks, is to honor talented women. And there are so many of us out there just being entrepreneurial and trying to make a business and a dream come true. And we can't do it alone. We have to have others who have other talents, who can share those talents with us. And that's what it's about. So tomorrow you're going to get a whole list of all the people that participated and their talents and their contact information, so that we can actually help each other if we want to. And after Christina speaks, we'll have little networking rooms that are so cute. This platform to me is just fun, because it feels like we're not on Zoom, that we're in a living room, and normally we don't have tech problems. It is actually in its beta stage, so we're always finding something to fix. Tonight, unfortunately, we didn't know about this big fix. But Christina is fresh off the TEDx stage. I hope that some of you have already seen her TED Talk. When we send the thank you tomorrow, it will be in the thank you. The link will be there. It's really phenomenal. It really speaks to the times we're in right now, the pandemic times, and women reclaiming their voices and trying to find our capes, whatever those capes are. We all have them. Sometimes they're missing, and sometimes we just need another woman to remind us that they're right there. And that is definitely Christina. Her book is, oh, of course, my phone is ringing. Her book is a book that every single woman here tonight should have. And it is called Extra, the Art of Being. And no one calls my landline, but of course they're going to call right now. It is filled with Christina isms, Christina quotes. Everything she says is a quote. Get your papers and pencils out, or your phones out, and you will get the recording tomorrow, so you don't have to write everything down. But her husband art directed this book, so she's not only has just wisdom gems, but she's also extremely fashionable. So I love this book from beginning to end. So first, anyone you love, starting with yourself. Okay, so Julie, if you can hear me, can you bring Christina in? I hope it's okay. Let's just hope. We're hoping. Her message is all about adding extra to life. And raise your hand if any. Hi, Pim. Raise your hand. Okay, I see you, Christina, but you're not in the right spot. So we're going to work on that. Julie, if you could put her in her spot. But you're with everybody. You're with your army. I love it. There she is. There she is. Okay, we're winging it. We're working it out. I literally just said to Christina, you know, I really love winging it more than being prepared. So, but tonight's winging it doesn't feel as good, I guess, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I still hear a little feedback, but hopefully we're just going to get through it. So I was just doing your intro, Christina. You are so special. You have such a great message for women. We are here because none of us can do it alone. And I just want to take this moment before we get Christina going here to bring in the women that came before us. And for me, it is my grandmother. And for many of you, it is your grandmothers. Maybe it's somebody else. But just close your eyes for a moment, everybody, and bring in the woman whose shoulders you stand on. Maybe it's your grandmother, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your great grandmother, maybe it's your aunt. It could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be someone of your own age or even younger. And just hear their words, hear their wisdom, hear the lessons that they've taught you, and just bring that person in and let that person sort of be with you tonight. Because as Christina will tell you, her TED Talk was really for her daughters. And we are in a time now where women's voices are important. We need to speak and speak up. Christina and I speak the same language, and I know you all do as well. So without further ado, Extra Love Army and Love Speaks Peeps, this is my friend, Christina Glickman.
Oh, hello, everybody. And if I'm sounding wonky, just somebody like raise your hands or something like that. But so far, it sounds good. First of all, thank you, everybody, for being here. And if you know me, I always start with like a very deep breath, especially because we had tech issues. I think we all need it. Like a big release. And just to say, like, thank you for sharing space with us. Because as I'll always say, no matter what Zoom or meeting or invitation we get, it's that you're giving us the gift of you, and I don't take it lightly, and I know Lou doesn't either. So thank you for being here.
Lou.
Yeah, and thank you for making this table. And I will promise you to be mindful of time, but Lou knows I could talk forever on these topics because they are so passionate for me. And what I loved about this coming together is that it was really a way for women to connect, and it was anchored in thinking about all the women that came before us. And what an incredible thought in this moment in time for all of us. And before I get into some of my thoughts, I just wanted to share what my grandmother's, and it's funny, when you asked me this a long time ago, I'm a real gut girl. So the first thing when you said, what did your grandmother teach you? That came to me was that I felt that the power of her unspoken and her kind eyes and her gentle hands for me as a child, that's what really came through for me. And I think it really suggested the power of our energy when we're not even speaking. And what we bring into a room before a word is even really spoken, right? And that power of kindness is something, Lou, that I feel like you do every day by connecting all of us with our stories. And so I'm so grateful for that. And that's hopefully something that I can take with me into the future. And importantly, as you talked about, we are in this moment in time, and reclaiming our voice, and why that phrase is so important is that, we have all sort of banded together with this rally cry of how do we move forward when the world seems to be erupting, right? I mean, everything from social injustice to pandemic to a division on almost every single thing that we think. And so for me, I will always inject hope. And I think about that through women and how connecting and us banding together and standing on the shoulders of the women that did all the work before. It's funny, as I think so much about this topic, when you look back to like the 1918 flu pandemic, it was women that saved us to move forward. If you look at movements in civil rights, if you look at whether or not it's the Me Too movement or Black Lives Matter, it is women that are at the front, but they're not alone. It's because they're together. And so that's why this table is so special to me, because we're not meant to move alone. We're not meant to dream alone. We're not meant to struggle alone. And normalizing all of those things gets me excited, because I don't know so many of you on here, but I'd like to, because you have different gifts than I do, right? And so I get so excited at the idea of what if we could all lift one another, take someone with you, share the connections, normalize like all the struggles that we really do have. And, I think what's interesting too is you talk about the talent I'll be speaking on. And I thought, isn't it funny though, even as a woman, that made me a little uncomfortable, right? Because we don't want to actually share our gifts or celebrate ourselves because that seems too big. And it's like, no, every single person in that bubble has something special and unique about them. And I want to bring it out in you. And so that's really where this idea of extra was born. And it's not probably what you think, which is, if you don't know me, I know I'm a lot. And it's like, I probably could have just come on in a t-shirt because the hair and the hoops and the white shadow is enough, but I need more. And so that's silly. But the truth is that my whole life, I've always gone a little bit further. And please understand, I don't mean success. I just mean, if you ask me for 10, I'm going to give you 10 and a half. And so as a way of showing up in life, I think that's really served me because I've tried to believe in myself to give a little bit more. And I've always had to be a hard worker because honestly, I was never really naturally talented at much. I just had to work really hard. And so when I think about where we are now within, I don't know, pandemic, post-pandemic, whatever you want to say, and I don't say this lightly, it's not a time for women to not use their voice. And more than anything, I talk about this in the sense that, all of the women before us were building this bridge, and right now half that bridge is gone. And, 2 million women are out of the workforce. Well, what does that mean for us? It means that we are not at the head of innovating new ideas, bringing new consumer products to the table, having our voices heard, making it so that a mother can actually be a part of the workforce, right? Like all these things, and whether or not it lands on you because you are in the workforce or you're at home or your kids are older, it doesn't matter. I just really need you to show up as you and move the conversations forward and bring someone with you. Maybe you're somebody that is like Lou and you network people and you say, gosh, doesn't your kid do this? And wouldn't it be great if they did that? Because we need each other. And I think there is some generational things that have happened in the past where we sort of had to fight for a seat at the table because that's the world we were living in when women really kind of came out. And we're not there anymore, right? I think it's like, make the table bigger. Like, how many of us can we bring? And so that's why this space is so incredibly special to me. And, Lou also asks about the talent that I need. And one that I'm in real search of is the ability to turn off. And, whether or not it's that we live in this social media world or we're consumed with so much that it's really hard to protect my energy and quiet the noise. And so when I think about situations where I need to listen to my gut or my spidey senses or any of those things, it's really difficult when everything's so noisy. So that's when I kind of go back to my grandma. And she had this powerful unspoken sensibility. And I think, okay, here's what I need to do. I need to get quiet. When I get quiet, my voice gets really loud because it's the only one I can hear. And so for me, I that's a reclaiming of my own voice because I think, what can I offer? And, Lou, you put together a beautiful post on MLK Day, which is, how do I take this message, though, and live that life? So if we all know that we need to band together as women and the example that I use often, too, is in the Me Too movement. It was but two investigative reporters that had they decided that it wasn't for them, where would we really be right now? And so every single one of us holds such importance. You don't need a badge, a title, a success. You don't need anything. You are enough because you are breathing and you are here and you have a heartbeat. And whether or not you know what your gift or talent might be, you have one, right? You have one. And it might not be mine. And I hope it's not mine because I need yours. So, right? Okay, Lou, I'm being mindful on time. We're at 7:22.
You're doing so well.
You sure?
I'm
okay.
the feedback. Sorry. You're doing great.
Okay. And a little bit too, what I want to touch on, because I think, when I think back to when Lou was telling me about this beautiful table that she was creating out of the love of connecting women, it's funny because she asks about like a recipe. And funny enough, if you know me, I also used to be a baker and I love sugar. And so I talked about it in the sense of having the cake, the frosting, and the sprinkles. And because for me, in my mind, the cake has always been like the foundation of who we are. It's like the base of our true north. And that gets to change, by the way. I think especially as women, change does not always make us feel that that's positive, but I would suggest that we're always reinventing, changing, not necessarily fixing or figuring it out, but just trying life on in different ways that feels okay, but that we know our core values and the truth to who we are. And that's sort of like the cake, the base. And then I get into sort of what is like the middle section, the frosting. And it's a little bit of the area where you get to have opportunities to be a little bit more fun, right? You think about frosting a cake, right? And you get to give birth to new ideas that you don't know where it might be headed. But it's supposed to be fun because, again, we talk about this so often that life is so beautiful, yet so beautifully tragic, but we need both. We need both to keep going in this moment in time more than anything. And the sprinkles, well, that's my favorite part because that's really the little bit extra of you. You're sprinkling on whatever that extra of you. So that's really the recipe for me. That is how I lead my life. It's not even made up. It's really how I lead. And if you think about, if you really knew that you could enter tomorrow and that your success was inevitable because you were going to give a little bit more of yourself, you'd probably do it, right? And knowing that at the end of the day, not everything is such a big deal. But I think the shame in all of it is not stepping into how do I want to help create the future? And it doesn't have to be some wild big thing. It just means like, how do I step into myself every day so that I can be a part of the conversation and the narrative so that, if you do have children or daughters or whatever, like, are you a part of the future self of that? And I hope it to be. And just you being here means you are.
This is true.
This is true.
I am scared to talk because I have feedback.
Oh, I'm going to mute just in case.
I don't want you to mute. I want you to continue. I'm having trouble with the chat, Jenna. I can't seem to write on it, which means maybe others can't. I'm not sure. But Christina, talk a little bit about where your idea came from. Oh, Carly can. So it's always me, the tech problem. Talk to me and talk to us about your TED Talk. Hi, Kathy Lancaster. Talk to us about your preparation for your TEDx talk and the whole idea of the cake and your Sunrider.
Thank you for asking. Whether or not you're sort of in that TED world and you have an interest, I kind of found that there are either people that love TEDx talks and they're all about them, or I had friends that are like, what's TED? So I don't know where you're coming into this conversation, but I always like to say, if you have something that's burning inside of you that you have a desire to share on a platform, then you kind of enter into that TED world. And the preparation for that, for me, started with that I really wanted to talk to moms. I mean, that's really where it came from, which is I felt that, mothers were not really being seen or heard or validated for what we're doing right now. And I wanted to put together something where at least they could look at it and say, oh, I see myself. Somebody's listening to me. And the process of that I think I'm most proud of. And it's funny, I am proud of the talk, but everything about my life right now is just not even about that. It was really about the process and how I was able to bring my family into it for 9 months. And, that's really the thing, right? Which is none of us want to compete with our to-do list because it will be filled. Nobody's winning. We all have a million things. Like, that's just the way that it goes. But I really tried to, from the very beginning, take my family on the ride with me and be able to say, I want to devote myself to this. And how do you want to be a part of it? And do you want to even help write sections of it? And so much so that the day of TED, I was standing out in blazing sun and my son would stand with me on the red dot with an umbrella, we were all in it. It was our thing. And the reason I share that is just because it's very relevant to the talk, which is I believe that as women, we can be many things. And there's no title I wear more proudly than as a mother, period, end of story. Call me what you want. When somebody says to me, what are you and who are you? I am a mother. That's where it ends for me. But what I realized is that I also get to be the ands throughout my life. And that doesn't minimize my contribution to my family, but that I get to keep trying on different things. And TED was one of those for me. And I think the other real gift is when you invite the people that you love in on your own dreams, the benefit it has for them. Because what ended up happening is I think I also gave my whole family permission slips to say, hey, guys, you need to step in. I can't do everything. I need help. and do something for myself. And I think that especially as women, we are in our DNA, we are caretakers. And so by virtue of me wanting to pursue something for myself can seem selfish. And what kept driving me was that, no, I have this burning desire to serve. And if I want to be an example to my children, then I need to walk the walk. And so whether or not I like to say, it doesn't have to be a TED Talk. It's anything that is important to you, but every single piece of movement that we do is really what is going to move the ball forward so that we actually don't halt ourselves with women's rights, all the things, because right now we are at such a disparity, whether it's the gender pay gap, all the things. So if you think that your one movement a day isn't important or doesn't make a difference, you're wildly wrong. And that's where you have to say, no, I'm a contributing member of this society, and what I do is important. And so, if there's one thing I can impress is that we're all responsible. And again, back to our grandmothers, it's like, how dare we not move that gift forward and in fact leave us with that half a bridge.
So important, all these words. Did you ever look at your kids? I can't imagine being in training, and I've tried. For all of you, I've tried TED 3 times, thrice, and 3 times no, one day, and that's okay. But I can't imagine that you're in that moment and you're saying like, isn't there a moment where you go, I can't do this? And did you ever say that to your kids? And they said, Mom, yes, you can.
Oh my God, I said it like every time I picked them up from school. I'm like, can I just get a note that says that it's canceled because of COVID? Like, I'm like, I want out, and Adam would always remind me, like, you did this, dummy.
Right. Be careful what you wish for.
And no one's paying you. Like, you're the crazy. And so, yes, I really did. I literally did almost every day. And I think that's also why I knew for myself. And I believed this, but I didn't know it till I lived it, that it was the journey to who I would become if I did it more than anything. And it was really true, because I felt for 9 months out of my league, uncomfortable. I shouldn't be here. All those things, I would email you and you'd say, I'd be like, I want to vomit. And you're like, you got this, And so it's like that feeling doesn't go away, but that also told me that I was doing the work for myself that I needed to do. And I always say the lesson for me, and apologies to people that have heard me say this before, but the real gift for me at the end of it was that I walked away feeling like there was no space I don't belong. And it doesn't mean because I'm so great or it was so great. It was just that I did the work to show up for myself. And then I realized that, if you give yourself over to something, that you ultimately can come out the other side a different person. And that's really the gift of it.
That's all that matters. And I would love it if anyone would put in the chat what it was that you did that made you feel like you belong anywhere. For me, it was stand-up comedy. It was the minute you do something that is so terrifying and you can do it and you survive and no one died, it's like, oh, now I can do anything. It really is what it's momentum. Like you said, it's about moving forward slowly. And sometimes, Gail ran a marathon. That's it. Like, you run that marathon, you can do anything. And Gail is now this incredibly successful real estate broker. Never done it before. She's been in the business 3 years maybe, and she's selling houses left and right. So that marathon, Susan gave a lecture. See, these are the things that you have to get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Jenna had a hysterectomy to gain freedom from pain. I like that, Jenna, for sure. So many of us have had our capes stolen, as you say in your TED Talk, and very different. It's different for everyone. It could be a big steal. It could be a tiny steal. It could be a myriad of things. But we all share that same feeling of a little bit of loss, like a little bit of loss. And you made me laugh so hard in your TED Talk when you said, we realized we lost or something when we hit the end of Netflix. Literally,
I'm laughing at myself, right? Because, we kind of thought it would be like a little 3-week break, right? Like, oh, great, well, I'll just binge and then we're going to go back to life. And, it's like, that's really not what happened here.
Right.
And we're still doing it now even, right? And we become so adaptable. Like, I really believe that, yes, it's broken open humanity, but I'm going to choose to see all the things that I got from it versus what was taken from me, because
Right.
I can't really, I'll be paralyzed if I look at it another way. I joke around that, champagne problems of like a vacation loss or like things like that, but they're real and they contribute to how we feel. And, you keep getting things taken away and real illnesses and your hope is here. So we need to inject hope into one another. So I always say, like, if you happen to be having a good moment in time, find someone that's not,
right.
Because the reality is we're going to dip in and out of it for a lifetime of it. And so, like, that's why we need your table.
Well, and we need your army, your extra love army. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm so grateful that you mentioned specifically that people are uncomfortable with saying what their talent is. It's why we're all uncomfortable with taking a compliment. I talk about that all the time. I know you do as well. It's like, if you get a compliment, you just receive that. And if you feel weird about receiving it, give one right back to the person that is right in front of you. And it's the most beautiful exchange. It can connect people. I've met more people just by simply giving them a compliment. And that's the same with our talent, because as Christina said, I hope you don't have the same talent as me, because I need you and I want you to need me. Like Julie and I have been working together for, I don't know how many years, 100. We worked at Harpo together. She's my tech person. I am tech horrible. Like, I don't even know what the word is. I have learned a little bit, but, and I need Julie, and Julie needs me, I think, maybe. And that's why we work together. Jenna too, like we work together that way. And I think, Christina, you and I would work great together, but we definitely probably share the same talents.
No, I mean, this would not be happening. No, or on this platform. I don't even know how to send an email. None of this would be working. So Christina might be a little bit too.
Yeah, she said to me, and this is the only person she could probably say this to and totally get it. She said, I would rather stand on the stage at the United Center and speak to the audience than send a JPEG.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'd start
with so me.
Put me out there right now, but do not ask me to like literally or like format something or
Excel.
No.
Forget it. Forget it. Your middle name, or is it your maiden name, is Funk. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I love that. And so actually, you know how I call you Lou? You can start to call me Funk. My whole life I was called Funk. It's my maiden name. So really up until I was 26, everyone called me Funk or Funky. So it's really a sweet thing, when you talk to other people in your life and they're calling you that, it takes you back that those are people that have been in your life for a long time. So yeah, it's my maiden name. I didn't really like to lose it, but
I love it.
Yes,
it suits you. You live, and Loveman is my married name. So yes. I think that it's just like, spell that. Kathy Lancaster is like, spell that. I didn't know what that meant. Funk, F-U-N-K. Oh my gosh, Jill Lyons is here. I don't see you in the bubble for some reason, Jill. Jill's the reason why I met Christina, and names have so much power. Jill has had 17 names.
I was just going to say, she could speak on a whole series of names.
She wrote the most beautiful, beautiful blog about claiming her new name. And then she went ahead and got married. And I'm like, wait, is there going to be another name change? So where are you, Jill? I don't see you for some reason. I know you're there. But yeah, names have power. And I think it's so important for us to honor each other by calling each other by the right names. Love that you're doing shower time with your kids. I love you, Jill. And I'm so grateful that, it started, my name is difficult because it's two names and people call me Sally and I'm like, wait, what? Who? Huh? And so recently, and I've been called Lou since birth, and, a lot of people on this call call me Lou. And I just changed it at Starbucks. I'm like, okay, my Starbucks name now is Lou. It's just Sally Lou, and they write Sally. I'm not going to correct the barista. I mean, it's not fair. They're busy. So, but it would bug me. So I'm like, it's Lou. And now my husband likes it so much. When he orders his Starbucks, he says Lou. I'm like, what are you talking about? But my heart, every time you say Lou, it like warms. It like warms because you are speaking to me in a way that I understand. And so I think names are very powerful. Very, very powerful. What's the first thing a woman can do who's feeling like she just doesn't have that extraness? That extra something? What is the first thing a woman can do?
Well, I mean, not to talk shallow, but when we don't feel okay about our outward expression of ourselves, our confidence is really low, right? And so, I mean, I would say at the very minimum, and I mean it, is like get dressed. We really have the ability to not even put clothing on that makes us feel good about ourselves. And so I would say, like, if you can actually just get up in the morning and get dressed or make your bed. I think the cadence of our day is so important because it's the small things. Our sense of normalcy was taken. So routine gives us a sense of calm. And so because everything was sort of haywire, especially if you were homeschooling with kids, it's kind of like, if you know me, I write the date on the board every day on my social media, because that was a sense of normalcy for me. And so I would say, like, to do a little bit extra is number one, to feel good about yourself, like put clothes on, because we don't usually really have to. And I mean it, like, just put clothes on. Does not have to be this, to be clear. Not this.
I'm going to need you to stand up.
Yeah, not this. Oh, yeah, but truth, though. Wait, look at this, though. Hold on. Watch that.
Let me see your shoes. And just let us see all the rings you have on.
These are pajama bottoms and slippers. So I have the tag.
Pajama bottoms.
Oh my gosh. But then I've got, can you see me? Hold on.
So cute.
Those are pajama bottoms.
And so Christina her look is athletic socks with heels, and they're so cute.
And I'm almost 50. So, like, it's starting to get to be a little bit not great.
Look at those rings.
But really, just, I think it's the idea that, standing up and just, whatever it is, getting your hot tea, getting your coffee, putting on real clothes. I didn't even say a cute outfit, just like something to make you feel like you're moving. And if you're always sitting like on a comfy chair trying to do something productive, like, move to a space that actually feels like you need to work. Or I think that because we've had such a liberty to lead our lives in what we think is a good way, it's taken away probably some structure for us.
Yeah.
And then in terms of just like a little bit more, I just also think that, I always say, confidence is the best article of clothing you could ever have. And I don't suggest you need to do anything crazy, but, you can do a little bit more. Like, maybe you want to mix up your patterns, or maybe you want to wear one big ring, or like putting on your headband. Like, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun.
How old were you and what were you wearing when you realized you had a certain, this talent that you were going to use in your life? How old were you when you knew you could connect with others like this?
I would say I was probably late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, wow. That took a while.
Oh, a long time, I think. Yeah. Well, also because, again, I'm a classic case, though, of always just thinking I don't have anything special, right? Like, that's just what we do to ourselves, right? We're so easily to say, because, again, I even say it now. I'm a dime a dozen. I talk about confidence and be you and fashion. There's a million people that talk about it. But how I talk to everybody is also, but I'm not you and you're not me. And so maybe something I say lands on your heart versus what Lou says. Exactly. And that's why we need each other to tell the stories that you are so wonderful about getting out of us, because the stories, that's the connective thread to how we breathe.
So and that's a great transition.
Yes.
Sorry, that's a great transition, because I didn't say it in the beginning because I was too worried about the tech.
Yeah.
Christina has a new podcast out, and it's called Extra Style. Oh my God.
Don't worry. Life and Style
Unedited. Life and Style Unedited. And when I listened to one of the many episodes, I said to her, this is a one-woman show, right? And she's like, and she kind of knew what I was saying because she probably had the same idea, right? And it is a one-woman show. So please subscribe, and it will be in your email tomorrow to her podcast. You will laugh your asses off. You will cry. You will be like, that's me, or I want that to be me, or whatever. It's really, truly a very, very special podcast. I love it so much. I also love when you were saying, make the table bigger. My immediate thought was, how we put leaves in our dining room tables? Some of us. My grandmother used to. My mom does. I don't. But if you have a leaf in your table, that just means you're growing it. And so I think that's a great kind of metaphor to go to our next part. I want to thank you for sharing all your wisdom. Christina and I will be in breakout rooms with all of you. And I know breakout rooms are really kind of like people don't like it. You have to participate and talk to people you don't know. But I promise you, with this prompt, it will be easy. I promise you. The prompt is this: what is your talent and what talent do you need? So Julie and Jenna are going to put us in breakout rooms, and then we're going to come back and say a quick goodbye. We will be out at 8:00. I can't thank you enough, Christina. We could talk for 7 more hours. You have so much wisdom, but obviously, everybody, it's in her book. You will laugh so hard, and you will have a warm heart. Her TEDx talk, her Instagram feed just is the happiest place to ever live. And of course, her podcast. So, all right, Julie and Jenna are working on this. Kathy, it's so nice to see you. Kathy Lancaster. And Pim and Kate, someone said parenting teenagers, that's their brave moment. So I feel you, I get you, I understand. Thank you so much, Christina. I won't see you in the breakout room, but I'll see you right back.
Okay.
And who are you with, Christina?
I was with Jill, Kate, and Pim, and it was fantastic.
Oh, cool. That's so fun. Well, I was with Stephanie and Kathy. Hi, Jill, Bib, Frank, Lyons. Hello. Wow, that was really fun. I hope that you all had some great moments and shared some of your talents with each other. We got through, Julie and Jenna, without too much tech problems. I'm so grateful. So I'll just give it a minute. Christina, follow her at Christina Glickman on Instagram. You will just be a happier person, and you'll get fashion ideas, and you'll try to put a little extra into your life and add that extra ring, like my little ring I wore today. I wore that for you, Christina. I'm only in 1, but that's okay. I'll go to 2 tomorrow. You will get wisdom that only Christina can give because she's Christina, and the same wisdom that you're all giving because you are you. This book is a great gift to give anyone you love, starting with yourself. Please listen to her podcast. It is truly, 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 it's a one-woman show, and it will be one day. Extra Life and Style Unscripted, and of course her TEDx talk, which will be tomorrow in your inbox. You will also receive all information for whoever attended tonight so that you can connect with each other. And next speaker, my friend Heather Gentile Collins, who can never get on if her husband's not home because she's not tech savvy. God willing, she's going to be here next month, and she's bringing something for us all to do. This beautiful art project that's simple and easy that we can all do, that is for the month of February, because it's important to give ourselves love and then give others love. So Christina, I can't thank you enough for being our speaker tonight on January 20th. You are very dear to me, and I hope that everybody here takes something away with them to make their night and their tomorrow just a little bit better. And remember, practice develops talent. That's right. All right. Thanks, Christina. Bye, everybody. This hour went so fast. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Gail. Bye, Jill. Bye, Kathy. Bye, Kate, Pim, Susan, Julie, Jenna, Stephanie. This is me doing the Oprah warm-up. Amanda, I love you, Susan. Did you like it, Susan?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Who are you in the room with?
Jennifer from Nebraska.
Okay.
And Amanda.
Oh, cool.
From Chicago.
Oh, cool. Wait, Amanda was, yes, I love, wait, is Amanda no. Amanda's,
the arts.
The happiness coach. I love that. I love that. Creative happiness coach. All right, everybody. I got to go to my husband's 60th birthday dinner.
Good. I was
getting it all in. Thanks, everybody.
So
I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye, Christina.